Ah, grandmothers. Everyone's got one, unless yours is dead, which... sorry. But whether they're the annoying in-law or the heart and soul of the movie, each one is an integral part to our favorite cartoon families. I mean, without their wisdom, or lack of it in some cases, the protagonists wouldn't even be who they are today. So in honor of grandmothers everywhere, we're gonna be taking a look back at some of the best and worst of these old bags throughout cartoon history. Ooh, and I'll be giving each one a personal tier list ranking on a scale from peak granny of the year to just die already. It's time to rank the cartoon mothers of the parents of our favorite protagonist. You know what? We don't need to do a whole title for it. Let's just do it.
Why are you acting weird?
I'm the village crazy lady. That's my job.
Grandma Tala is one of my favorite characters from any Disney movie. I mean, without her wisdom and motivational pep talks, Moana may not have ever even found her true calling to save the ocean in the first place, and would have just lived her life all depressed being stuck on this island with a call that's not out there at all, it's inside her, until their inevitable gruesome demise. Cause everyone else had a giant stick of coconut tree up their asses, but this crazy old lady over here dancing in the ocean is the only one making any goddamn sense around here. It's like, great job, Chief. If Moana actually listened to your nobody goes beyond the reef post-trauma tantrum, then you and your village would all be dead.
Chief, it's your mother.
She's disowning you for being a stubborn fucking asshole. Man, I wish I had wise dead relatives pointing me in the direction of my life's purpose. All I get's a stupid old book. I mean, even in her afterlife, this granny's still the absolute MVP of the movie. And if their island has the right ingredients for it, I bet she would have made the best damn cookies. Next up, I think we need to give a shout out to the only Scottish angel living out in the middle of nowhere who could find a giant blood-sucking parasite and invite it in for some pie. Muriel Bagge from Courage the Cowardly Dog is the absolute granny goat.
Now, Courage, no need to worry. You'll have your turn.
Treating apocalyptic horror scenarios like it's just another Tuesday. From space ducks to trauma-inducing early CGI mummies, Muriel's response is usually somewhere between, "That's nice, dear," and "Would you like some tea?" And it's her big heart and loving relationship with her dog Courage that inspires his, well, courage. Almost every episode revolves around Muriel accidentally stumbling into nightmares beyond belief and Courage having to step up to save her. And it is worth it every time. She's not just a comforting presence, she is Courage's entire emotional support system. And you know he's gonna need it with all the distress this damsel puts herself into. Like, damn it, woman. That is a spider the size of a small sedan. Would you stop trying to knit it a sweater? Courage has his work cut out for him. And while there's technically no canonical proof that she actually has any grandchildren, her relationship with Courage has absolutely earned her the title of honorary grandma, and a peak one at that.
Here's Bobby!
Gloria is a character introduced early on in season 1 to be basically Bob's worst nightmare. He absolutely cannot stand this lady, and I kinda don't blame him. Not only did they bring in the most ear-grating voice you could think of to play this lady,
Great job, Bob. You lost my father.
but she's constantly telling Bob and Linda how to raise their kids and sticking her nose in places it doesn't belong. I mean, she literally makes a giant hole in their wall in the middle of the restaurant without asking anyone first, so Bob could exit the walls instead of just, you know, using the crawl space door he came in from.
Want to hear my impression of her?
I'm not hearing this, right?
They do eventually flesh out her character to be more than just an annoying mother-in-law, showing us some of the struggles she had raising her own kids, finding it especially hard to connect to Linda's sister, Gail, in which Linda tends to have to be the mediator, breaking up their constant fighting. But she does admit to thinking Linda and Bob are great parents. It's not that she doesn't love her family, she's just a bit too one-minded to see things any way but her own. One episode is centered around Linda wanting to meet up and spend some time with their parents at the airport, and they proceed to spend the entire episode just trying to find her since she's too damn crotchety to handle navigating an airport herself.
You know what? Don't move. I'll come to you. But real quick, I need you to tell this nice man that I'm your daughter. What?
And can't follow basic instructions. So I feel like she kind of fits best in the, what's that, Sonny? category.
Tell Uncle Owen not to tell you that your father is Darth Vader.
Barbara Pewterschmidt, one of the many background characters in Family Guy, but this show's been going on long enough for us to see just how much she sucks as a person.
Oh, the kids are getting so big, especially Chris. Is he diabetic?
Not only is she constantly bringing down her daughter for her life choices, but she's made it perfectly clear that her marriage with her husband is purely for the money. I mean, in multiple episodes, she's shown to be straight up on board with cheating on Carter, with Peter no less. Sure, Carter may suck too, too, but we're not talking about cartoon grandpas here, so the jury's still out on all your Jezebelian lifestyle choices.
Mom, would you have sex with Peter?
Of course, dear. Carter's been most insufferable lately, and this would just stick in his craw.
And yet you have the gall to try and tell Lois how to live her life. I don't think so, lady. You're staying in the retirement home. And I don't know about you, but when I think cartoon grandma, the grandma that got ran over by a reindeer definitely comes to mind. You know, the C-tier Christmas movie based entirely on that one Christmas song you may have heard of.
Grandpa's gonna sue the pants off of Santa, 'cause Grandma would have wanted him to.
Yep, that's the one. You want to talk about sweet and generous grannies? How about the one that refused to sell her toy store for untold riches simply because she wanted to keep giving all the product away for free? 'Cause, you know, 'tis the season. Ugh. This special used to play every year on cable. Like they thought if they played it enough times every year at Christmas, we'd all just say f it and make it an annual watching tradition. And damn it worked. Jake and his corny ass stories where he gets gaslit into thinking Santa isn't real and his grandma's just dead always lifts my Christmas spirit.
Whoa! Oh no, not again!
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Okay, the first time was kind of a cool experience and she let it slide, fine. But twice in a row? You should actually sue the claws off this guy. That's just straight up negligent. Anyways, multiple concussions or not, this loving granny's just not all there in the head.
4 is the worst number.
Now, Grandma Wu actually has a lot in common with Abuela from Encanto, character-wise, so I figured I'd just group them both together as the Disney's generational trauma mamas. Because while both of them definitely care a lot about their grandchildren, they put some heavy-ass expectations on these kids, with Abuela having the massive responsibility of maintaining a magic house that keeps an entire town safe, and Wu being Asian. It is truly a recipe for disaster. While they could technically be classified as the antagonist of their respective movies, it's not out of malice. They truly want what's best for their family. It's just that no mother or grandmother is gonna have all the right answers. And they both had some pretty big shoes to fill themselves. But seeing as how they're both still willing to fight for what they believe is best for their families, and willing to change when they learn the error of their ways, I think that makes them pretty badass. Oh, and you know what? Let's just go ahead and throw Miguel's grandmother from Coco in here too.
Go away, you! Go!
It's just Dante.
Never name a street dog. They'll follow you forever. Now, go get my shoe.
With all of her no music bullshit. But since Wu's family literally cowers at the thought of speaking to her, I'm gonna go on a limb and say that she's probably the most trauma-inducing of the three. And hey, real quick, if you'd like to support this channel to make sure I can continue making more videos like this in the future, I'm launching my very own Patreon page. There, you'll find behind-the-scenes updates on my next projects, and exclusive access to Joe Thoughts After Dark, a new uncensored version of my videos that literally get way darker, since we all know dark mode is far superior. And donating just once at the lowest tier is enough to get you a lifetime VIP pass to the Average Joe Lounge Discord server, and all the server perks that come along with it. So why not check it out and support your favorite creator? I mean, I am your favorite creator, right? Thank you all for the support. You are what keeps this channel going. Now back to the video.
Come on, this is for everyone who's been a victim. What do you want to say to bullies all across America? Go ahead, say it.
Stop trying to make me say things I don't want to on your TV show.
Everyone loves Butters, dude. He's such a fun, innocent character in South Park's world of raunch and child endangerment, which makes his grandmother easily one of the most hateable characters in the show. Although she's only in a single episode, she really leaves an impression within her episode's topic of bullying, the ironic twist being that Butters' bully is actually his own grandmother. And while, yeah, it's funny in an ironic sort of way, it's also just really hard to watch. I mean, she really lays into this kid for no particular reason, giving him a black eye, forcing him to eat a urinal cake, all while she hides behind this innocent, "Oh, I'm so old, tea would be lovely" facade.
Here we go.
Oh, there's the tea.
If you think Butters has lousy parents, grounding him for nothing, and attempting to murder him that one time, one could only imagine the horrors of what kind of parents raised them. Oh, wait, we don't have to. She's right here, stabbing her grandson with a fork.
No, I've been getting lots of advice how to deal with you, but I kind of realize there's just people like you out there. When you're a kid, things seem like they're gonna last forever, but they're not. Life changes. Someday you're gonna die. Someday pretty soon. And when you're laying in that hospital bed with tubes up your nose, I'll come visit you just to show you that I'm still happy. And you'll die, being nothing but you. Night, Grandma!
You know what? I'm with Butters on this one. The world would be a better place if Grandma Stotch would just die already. But now, I think it's time we turned our attention to a woman truly special. Charlie's grandmother in hell, baby. I mean, just look at this beautiful specimen.
Oh, you should have a scrumptious piece of hard candy for the journey, Charlie.
No, thank you, Grandma. I'm fine.
More for me.
Damned to all eternity for lightly swearing after seeing her husband getting stabbed to death, which is a completely justified reaction given the situation. But does she care? Does that bring her down? Hell no. Pun intended. She sees her grandson hiking down in the pits of hell. She offers that boy a lollipop, as any good grandmother should. And does that make her badass material? Nah, man, it makes her peak Granny of the Year material, baby. Take a bow, or a rock in your chair. You've earned it. I'll leave you and that lollipop to it. All right, who we got next?
She's not gonna eat me, right?
If she was gonna eat anyone, it would be...
Grant Stonewell of the Croods is a pretty one-note character, all things considered. That note being a recurring gag that her son-in-law wishes she were dead. Other than that, I don't remember a single notable thing she does in this movie.
I thought he was a warthog, but then he turned into a boy.
Strange. Usually it's the reverse.
I think she had a tail for some reason. They did flesh out her character a bit more in the sequel, giving her this backstory about how she used to be part of the Thundercats or something. Oh, also her wig flies off her head at one point and is apparently a feral creature capable of tracking scents miles away. So, too new? Alright, to be fair though, she does have a ton of energy for her age and stands her ground in the hunt along with the rest of the family pack. She is not the weakest link in the chain, that's for sure. So considering that she hunts for her own food, honestly that's kind of badass, I'm not gonna lie.
Have a cookie, SpongeBob.
You make the best cookies in the deep blue sea. Oh, yeah.
Grandma Squarepants is actually the very first character that comes to mind when I think of a cartoon grandma. Her appearances have just been that iconic to me, and she downright spoils this man-child. Endless batches of cookies, a rocky seahorse, bedtime stories. She is the definition of a down-to-earth sweetheart. She'll even spoil Patrick, and they're not even related. So could you really blame SpongeBob for showing such an open affection for this woman?
Grandma's cookies.
I sure couldn't, and I found it downright appalling as a kid to see how hard SpongeBob got bullied into thinking that loving your family is somehow not appropriate for a grown adult to experience. If you take anything from these episodes, it should be to never feel ashamed for being part of a loving family. Feel lucky. You could have been stuck with Grandma Stotch. I mean, seriously, guys, what is so wrong with showing a bit of open affection? And do you guys seriously have nothing better to do but to spy on SpongeBob through a window? You know what? Something tells me part of the infinite childlike wonder and optimism SpongeBob has in life is partially thanks to the amazing upbringing this granny brought to the table, along with another batch of killer cookies. I mean, those have just got to be to die for. Just look at her, out here looking like a literal giant-ass cookie. So this tier category was made for her.
The ham is keeping me down, boy! Yeah, our bus got towed and we need to get it back.
You need to go before the judge.
Madam Foster is a bundle of batshit crazy, and you just gotta love her for it. I mean, you kinda gotta be a little crazy to run a Foster's home for imaginary friends. Like Lady, they're imaginary. But not to all these kids who, in this universe, can create actual living beings just by their own imagination. So mad props to her for being someone willing to take action to ensure these imaginary friends who get abandoned by their original owners still have a place to call home. But is she a good grandmother? Well, she definitely treats her imaginary friend Harrington and the show's protagonist Max well enough, but as for her granddaughter Frankie, she's kinda stuck as the grunt worker of the place, and it definitely feels like she'd rather not be there, usually ending up as the one who has to clean up after Blue's shenanigans. I guess the rest of the shit she gets is from Harrington though, so we'll give old Foster a pass. Realistically though, if she were my own grandmother, and she kept trying to tell me her imaginary bunny friend is trying to stop Blue from overthrowing City Hall again, I'd tell her to take her meds.
Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
Malory Archer. While technically just Archer's mom, he does end up having a kid later on in the show, so she does turn into a grandma at some point, just to traumatize her next generation. Because Jesus Christ, is this lady awful to her kid?
You're a fat little baby.
Fast forward to me buying her liposuction for graduation.
If Archer is a f***ed up psychopath, it's only because he learned it from her. Okay, let's see. Her crimes include mass murder, espionage, child neglect, blackmail, treason, fraud, assault, illegal use of space technology, brainwashing. Her only saving grace is that as demented as she can be, she does actually care for Archer. She just has a pretty f***ed up way of showing it. She's a fun character, but I will not be visiting her in the retirement home.
Have you ever wrestled a Hydra? Better yet, have you ever played dodgeball?
Oh, I am gonna like you.
Grandmamah from RWBY Gilman Teenage Kraken is hands down the most powerful granny on this list, maybe even in all of animation history. Also known as the ruler of the Seven Seas, the entire plot of this movie revolves around RWBY Gilman discovering her true ancestry and how downright cool it is. This queen's the size of a small city, has super speed, laser eyes, and helped put an end to their war against the mermaids. Although with all this responsibility, she doesn't exactly put her family first, forcing these responsibilities onto her daughter until it drove her out of the entire ocean just to get away from Grandmamah and her humophobic rants. Like, no joke, she was just flat out racist against humans.
Was it horrible living among the hairy crust dwellers? You mean people? Oh, even the word makes my tentacles squirm.
So she has a pretty hard time accepting the fact that her granddaughter would rather spend time with their surface world friends than being responsible for the safety of the entire ocean. But I respect that she inevitably recognized that it's a choice RWBY needs to make herself. And in the end, Grandmamah is able to help RWBY find that balance she needs between her Kraken side and teenage side. It's a pretty underrated movie, to be honest. I think it's at least worth a watch. So, while she may not be the strongest when it comes to family values, she is literally the strongest at anything else. That's a major badass material right there. But you know what's even more badass than having a giant killer Kraken in your family? Sugar Mama.
Where did this girl learn how to sass me like that?
Boy, will you shut up trying to concentrate on my sweepstakes?
Okay, now here's a fun character. Sugar Mama is sassy, super energetic for her age, and somehow always finding ways to accidentally expose her granny garments. She's a good grandparent to Penny too, often giving her just the advice she needs to overcome all these sitcom antics.
Hey, you biscuit head coach! Put my grandbaby in the game!
But as great of a grandmother as she can be, she's not exactly the best mom to her kid. I mean, she's constantly beating on her son, Oscar, and while it's played for slapstick comedy because he's an idiot who deserves it, let's call a spade a spade. She is abusive to her son. And while she herself had kind of a rough childhood, being the non-favorite child of two, I don't think it excuses the behavior of her picking favorites herself. So I'll say she's a fun character.
Ooh, Sugar Mama, you better cut it out. You know you already have a man. What about Poppy?
Happy don't own no island, girl.
And highly relatable, but she's not about to win any Parent of the Year awards. Good thing we're ranking these ladies on being a good grandparent, though. I think we're gonna give her top tier badass.
Drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Open your mouth! Drop it!
Ah, good old Granny. I mean, what is there to say about this Looney Tunes character except for when I'm about to? She is the absolute epitome of sweet old grandma. Just a kind-hearted, sweet, nurturing soul, and a bit of a background character in the original Merry Melodies, but has since become a staple of the main Looney Tunes cast. Shown to be the owner of Tweety Bird, Granny keeps a watchful eye to make sure he doesn't get eaten by that bad pussycat. She's also one of the only humans in the Looney Tunes world, and tends to be more of a mediator to ground the rest of the Looney cast, especially in that one Baby Looney Tunes spinoff where she's like the babysitter of all the critters. And I honestly don't have a ton to say about her. I mean, she is just your run-of-the-mill granny after all, but any good cartoon grandma's list needs to mention her at least once, right? Because her granny status is downright iconic, and her cookies would be no different. And finally, saving the best for last, the most iconic, well-nurtured, pure-hearted soul to ever grace our screens. You know her, you love her, Mama Coco. No, I didn't forget her. She's just Miguel's great grandmother, and great is an understatement.
What's wrong, Mika? Nothing, Mama. Nothing at all.
Mama Coco, thank you for making all of America pretend not to shed a tear when you almost forgot your own father. You a real one. And sorry we'll have to see you die again since Pixar's making a Coco 2. Top tier granny right here, no question. But unfortunately, that's all the time these grannies had left. Yet there are still way more worth mentioning. Some honorable mentions being Arthur's grandmother, Nostalgia from Inside Out 2, the grandma who was killed by singing.
Why won't you
Because singing killed my grandma, okay?
But if there's one thing these ladies have taught us, it's that for every cartoon hero off saving the world, there's also an accompanying grandmother out there baking them some delicious victory cookies. Or abusing their children. But you know what? Let's end on a high note. Shout out to all you grandmothers out there. You're all peak Granny of the Years in my book. And Patreon members, thanks for what you do too. And Grandma Stotch, you can just f the right off, alright? Butters is a saint.